Hello, welcome to Mulberry House International. I'm Jen and I'm the head of English here. Now today my talk will focus on how children develop their writing skills and how we can support and encourage them in the early years. So I'll talk talking a little bit about emergent writing first. So emergent writing is basically children's way of communicating with us through mark making. Now children do this for many reasons and they'll start as young as 2 years old. So children, for one, they'll do this for purely the enjoyment of mark making. They love experimenting with mark making tools and materials, but mostly children do this because they want to communicate with us. They want to make their thinking visible to us and they want to express their ideas and feelings and thoughts to us too. So I'll start by showing you all the developmental stages of emergent writing and the different stages that children go through before they begin to write words and write sentences. So I have some pictures here to show you the developmental stages. So the first stage is the drawing stage. Now with this stage, children usually draw pictures that represent things or objects and not necessarily words. And with stage 2, scribbles, so children will usually do random scribbles with no particular direction. It'll be from left to right, top to bottom, and slowly they'll work towards doing scribbles that are a little bit more controlled. So you see with these scribbles, they actually go horizontally from left to right, which resembles a lot of what you might see in storybooks as well. Then in stage 3, this is the mock letter stage. So children will scribble, but they'll also begin to do letters that actually resemble actual conventional letters, and also letters that might take on shapes and patterns as well. And this is a really important stage of their emergent writing developmental stages, because they're starting to realise that words are groups of individual letters put together. Then there's the 4th stage, which is letters and letter strings. Now with this stage, children are starting to actually write conventional letters, and even though some of them might be upside down or the wrong way around, they're starting to begin to do that. And with these letters, they might see this from the environment around them. They might pick it up from places that they've seen in supermarkets or in books. And with this stage as well, they will also write letter strings, so similar letters, but they'll also be doing it horizontally, similar to the stage before where they're resembling the print in storybooks as well. Then there's stage 5, which is the invented spelling stage. So children use clusters of letters here to create words that they have invented, and they won't necessarily know what the words actually say, and they might even ask the adults, oh, what did I write? Because they're also really interested to know, with the letters they've put together, what words they've made. Then stage 6 is the phonetic spelling stage. Now with this stage, they'll begin to associate letters with sounds, and they'll start creating words with their phonetic knowledge as well. And usually at this stage as well, they'll also be writing initial letters and end letters as well. And you can see here with this example, they're also resembling more conventional sentences where there's spaces in between the words too. So they're beginning to understand sentence structure at this stage. And with the last stage, this one is the conventional spelling stage. Now with this one, they're increasingly building their vocabulary, and they're increasingly using more conventionally spelled words in their writing. And they're also putting more sentences together within their writing too. So these are the 7 stages that children go through with emergent writing. Now there's different aspects that are really important and to support children in their journey to writing. Now one of them is helping children to with their physical development, and this one is really important because they need to be physically ready to meet the demands of writing at a later stage. So with the physical development, we look at their fine motor skills and their gross motor skills. So I'll talk a little bit about what fine motor skills and gross motor skills are first. So with gross motor skills, you're using more of your whole body movements. So you're using your arms, using your legs, and with fine motor skills, you're using more of your hand muscles and your finger muscles. So you're using more smaller movements to pick things up, to grasp things, or to twist things, so using more of your fingers. Now, with both these sets of skills, we can provide children with different activities to help support and develop these skills. So with gross motor skills, you can do things like throwing and catching a ball with your child, and that will really help them to plan their movements and be more aware of the space around them and develop their spatial awareness. And you can also use building blocks to help them with their gross motor skills. And even though with building blocks, sometimes people think that maybe this is more a sit-down activity, but actually on a larger scale, when you're using building blocks, children need to pick themselves up, they need to use their whole body, they need to walk around the blocks, and they need to plan their movements. So this will also involve developing their gross motor skills. Now, the next set of skills that children need to develop is their fine motor skills. And with fine motor skills, there's lots and lots of different activities that you can do to develop these skills. There's one that you can do with Play-Doh. You can get children to play with Play-Doh, and they can manipulate it, use their fingers to mould it and knead it. And that's a really good way of working their finger muscles and their hand muscles. One that I like to do with children, which I think they really enjoy, and I also done this today with a playgroup class, is using whisks, because with a whisk they're also moving their wrists and moving their fingers a lot. And with that activity, it's really simple. You can set it up at home, so you can get a bowl and you can fill it with water, drop a few drops of soap or washing detergent, and then just get the children to whisk. And the children really enjoy watching the change in the water when there's bubbles coming up, and also it really helps them to move their hands and their fingers a lot. So those are the kind of activities that you can do to develop those fine motor and gross motor skills. But another really important aspect of helping children on the journey to writing is creating opportunities for them to do lots and lots of mark making. So I think this acronym that I have here is a really great way to help us remember how we can motivate and support children with their emergent writing. So this one is PIE, PIE, which is very easy to remember. And these three letters stand for provide, invite, and encourage. So I'll go through each one of these to help you understand exactly what I mean by that. So with P, provide, we're actually, we really need to help children do a lot more multi-sensory activities. So providing those kind of activities for them is really helpful in helping them with their emergent writing process. Children who engage in multi-sensory activities, they're less likely to develop bad habits in writing at a later stage. So having those activities accessible to children and providing those opportunities for them is really important. So it could be even in the classroom, we do things like this, but you can also do this at home too. Provide really interesting materials for children to really capture their attention, so they're more engaged with these mark-making activities. So you can provide them with different sort of paper, different textures. So you can have them envelopes, maybe after they've done their mark making, they can put it in there and post it. We have a Christmas post box in our school, so the children have been doing that. They can do mark making with crayons and pens on different coloured paper with different sizes. I give them a choice of different types of paper, but also different paper with different types of texture as well, and different colours, so this will really attract them. And also using crayons and using pens or any sort of mark making materials on different textured paper will really make different effects, which will be really exciting for them too. So it's about making those mark making activities interesting and engaging, so they can be really creative with them, but also they're really excited and they look forward to doing these activities. So you can use different mark making tools. You can use things like pastels and different sorts of pencils. These are pastel pencils, but you can also use these sort of different coloured ones as well. So anything that makes it a bit more interesting and varied for them. There's also, you can provide children with paint, and you can give them different sort of things that might look a bit funny, but actually they really enjoy using these kind of things to just dip into paint and do lots of mark making and drawing on a piece of paper. So different textures, different lengths, different shapes that they can just dip into paint and use it on a piece of paper. So just putting this on in the middle of the table and inviting children to do this is a great idea to help them, encourage them to do mark making. So reading and writing come hand in hand in literacy as well. So apart from providing materials for them to do mark making activities, it's really important to provide them with different stories, so they're able to see the different language structures in stories. So things like, you can find lots of really good stories out there, but these two are ones that I enjoy reading to children. So this one would be a good one to do now for Christmas, The Gruffalo's Child. And there's a lot of repeated phrases in there, and lots of really good language in there that helps children to build their bank of vocabulary. And this one, Pass the Jam Gym, is also a good one to do with children because there's lots of rhymes and alliteration, and children love listening to the different sounds that all these words make as well. So all these language patterns and structure will really help them with writing at a later stage. So the next letter in the acronym that I was talking about is I. So inviting children. Now children need things to write about, so encourage children to do lots and lots of talking with you and invite them to share their thoughts and feelings with you. So after a day at school, you can ask them what they've been doing, what they liked engaging in at school, or what they didn't like, and really encourage them to talk to you to build that language at home as well, which is something that we do a lot of in the classroom with group discussions and just talking one-on-one to the children too. And invite children to create their own stories. Stories don't all have to be written down. You can encourage children to invent their own stories and tell you those stories, which really builds their vocabulary skills for writing at a later stage. Now, the last one is E, which is to encourage children. Now, this one, I think, out of all the letters, P-I-E, I think this one is the most important one, because you really need children to feel secure and to build a trusting environment for them to express their ideas. When they're confident and when they feel secure in a really good trusting environment, they're able to express their ideas more and be confident in being creative. So also developing children's confidence and self-esteem, praising them and celebrating their achievement along the way. So if they do a fantastic piece of drawing, mark making or writing, make sure you praise them and encourage them so they look forward to doing it next time and they know that you've been really celebrating their achievement with them. So to sum up the whole talk, I hope that from this talk you can take away a few really important points. So give children the opportunities to be physically active. Children need to be physically ready before they can start to write at a later stage. So make sure you're doing lots of those fine motor skills and gross motor skills activities, and there's lots of these activities that you can find online as well. So they're really nice and easy, it doesn't take a lot of time, and it will really help children to develop physically. Let children explore through fun and engaging mark-making activities, and let them be creative to express their ideas. And as I mentioned already, celebrate their achievements, and that will really motivate them to keep going with their emergent writing. And children who really enjoy this process, they'll really set up a strong foundation which will allow children to become really competent, capable writers, but also children who write with joy and with a purpose. So I hope this talk was useful to everybody, and I hope you've taken away some really good points about how to develop your child's writing skills in the early years. And thank you for listening to the talk, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye.